Jody Conradt was raised about 90 miles northwest of Austin in Goldthwaite, Texas, where she graduated with a class of 22 students in 1959.
I grew up in a very athletic family. At that time, everything was centered around the school. But I saw my dad play baseball on weekends, and I remember vividly seeing my mother play softball, play third base on a city league team.
Jody averaged 40 points per game playing 3-on-3 half-court basketball for the Eagles.
Texas basketball for girls was divided court. 3 played offense, 3 played defense, and so you got a lot more opportunities to shoot. All of my coaches were men, so it never occurred to me that I could be a coach.
Jody, who played basketball at Baylor, thought she wanted to be a teacher, but realized coaching was her calling. After stops at Sam Houston and UT Arlington, where she had a lot of success, the University of Texas Athletic Director Donna Lopiano hired Jody to coach basketball and volleyball at UT.
I played both at Texas, and Jody was my coach in volleyball and basketball. All you wanted to do was play. I would go from one practice to the other practice, and now I was happy as a lark.
The situation at the University of Texas, Rodney Page was coaching that club team and a year or two into intercollegiate athletics. Interestingly enough, all of those players but 2 quit when I was hired. One of the players who remained was the first African-American woman to play at the University of Texas named Retha Swindell. And the other who stuck with me was a woman named Kathy Self Morgan, who became the very successful coach at Westlake and ultimately Duncanville. So we had a basis with a couple of really good players. We only played 1 year at Gregory Gym. We played a prelim to the men's game. Abe Lemons, who was the men's coach and hired at the same time I was also playing 1 year in Gregory.
The Irwin Center opened in 1977. The UT women's basketball team discovered they had their own fan base with a fast-paced offensive style of full-court basketball.
The Irwin Center was a draw, so we sort of went out on a limb at Donna's initiation. Let's have our own schedule and let's go and play as a standalone. We did that in the Irwin Center shortly after it opened. We invited Barbara Jordan and Ann Richards and other celebrities to come to the game to showcase that this is something that people can and should enjoy. And it helped that we were winning. People were looking for a successful basketball team, and we fit the bill at that point in time, and the crowds started to really grow.
Texas has a legacy of smart, strong, powerful women, and you could find a lot of them on any given night at the Irwin Center watching Jody Conrad's team play basketball.
Despite 3 consecutive near misses, including a loss at the buzzer to Western Kentucky in 1985, 6 seniors and teammates like Clarissa Davis were determined to get the job done the following season.
They were so motivated to get past that humiliating defeat that they steamrolled everyone who stood in their way.
Davis would later be named the MVP of the Final Four as Texas finished a perfect season, 34-0 in 1986.
You never forget perfection because it doesn't happen in sports very often. No, I'll never think about that championship. That I won't think about how hard it was to get there and how rewarding it was because of the adversity that we'd gone through.
Of all the numbers in Jody's monumental coaching career, perhaps the most amazing is the 183 consecutive victories against Southwest Conference opponents from 1978 to 1990. That is a total domination that only UConn could appreciate.
That is a lot of games, and it's a lot of people that contributed to that. The difficulty becomes maintaining success. Everybody wants to win, and everybody has you as their target.
Conradt would reach several milestones along her monumental coaching career, including 900 total victories, plus she became one of only 2 Naismith Hall of Fame inductees.
It's hard to top the idea that you're recognized in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. You know, I had a very high-profile job, and that responsibility is to be the kind of person that others can look up to And that's what I tried to impart on the players who played on the teams that I had an opportunity to coach.
Played for Coach Conradt for 4 years. I'm the head basketball coach here at Goldthwaite High School, have been for the last 12 years. And the reason I am here is because of Coach Conradt. She was a huge idol of mine. We've honored Coach Conradt many times since I've been here at Goldthwaite. We have a statue here, has come and talked to our kids and still has that small town feel and tie to Goldthwaite.
In 38 years of coaching, including 31 with Texas, Jody might be most proud of her and Lopiano's role starting the Neighborhood Longhorn Foundation, which gave UT athletes a chance to go into the economically challenged areas and build relationships in the city.
Let's create an opportunity for our players to go into the community, give a helping hand. Kids are looking up to what they do. Kids are admiring and wanting to emulate. So let's make sure that those kids have a connection and an opportunity to be one-on-one with the players.
What started with replacing nets and painting backboards quickly became visits to elementary schools to reward overachieving students with a chance to come to campus to attend sporting events and fine arts.
Those student athletes, if they're a part of Neighborhood Longhorns, they get to come to campus to an athletic event or something at the Fine Arts Center and introduces them to higher education.
We participate in the Juneteenth parade every year. One thing I shared with the student athletes, be present, engage, interact, because for some of them this is the closest that they will ever be able to get to you.
And what you really find out about student athletes, male and female, is they love to deal with young people. They love to be around them. They remember those days. They were in those shoes. And they like to be inspirational to that group of youngsters. They're usually really attentive.
It not only impacts the kids, it impacts their parents, it impacts their whole family. College is something that's attainable for them. And this was an opportunity that was created by Jody Conradt to give this opportunity to our kids to come to the University of Texas campus.
Jody has been remarkable in terms of her leadership to let her players understand the importance of graduating. I got to meet a living legend at the age of 21. You truly get to see what leadership, kindness, and compassion looks like.
Howard Nurkin was student body president at the time that we started to talk about Neighborhood Longhorns. Donna reached out to Howard. We need numbers of students to volunteer to go into these schools and to help tutor and to be role models. There were so many students that Howard had talked into volunteering that that room was overflowing. He's still responsible for getting so many students, so many service organizations, so many groups to commit to supporting the Neighborhood Longhorn programs.
A story on Jody Conradt would not be complete without mentioning the 50th anniversary of Title IX and the role Jody and Donna played influencing decision makers, along with a UT Board of Regent, Martha Smiley, who was a lawyer with influence.
I had been appointed to the UT Board of Regents. It was really '93. One of the first things was a lawsuit over Title IX.
The University of Texas is sued by 6 women students who say we don't have enough sports, enough participation spots to mirror what's happening on the men's side, and therefore we're not in compliance to Title IX. We got a new president during that time. We moved to a new conference, and it was a time of sort of turmoil.
The whole point was to balance scholarships, find equal opportunities for young women students. The challenge was to find the right sports with plenty of team players. Out of that Title IX settlement came soccer and softball and rowing, and we see what the result has been there.
So Martha Smiley took the lead with the Board of Regents, and she was key in helping us move forward, add 3 additional sports. Women just needed an opportunity. They just needed to be given a chance. There's always a transition. You're always moving forward. And that transition is Chris Plonsky, who would not have the same kind of success and the same kind of visibility and credibility for women's athletics if it were not for Chris.
The community of Austin and Central Texas is a part of her heart. She's a Texan, small town girl from Goldthwaite. I think those threads have really influenced her, not only in her education, but in her work and on her ability to really message what is important about the value of education, community, and paying it forward.
Wins, losses, none of that is very significant at this point. It's opportunity. And I'm so thankful that I, through the University of Texas, had an opportunity to create more of those opportunities for young women.
She champions for not just women and women's sports, but she champions for people. She champions for diversity, for inclusion, for equity.
She's gracious, she's kind, she's friendly, and I know she'll be very grateful to the Greater Austin Sports Foundation for this honor.
I take such pride in everything that Austin does. This is the ultimate, a sports foundation representing the greatest city in the country, and I'm a part of that. There isn't a greater honor in my mind than that.
She is Texas.
Jody Conradt, a Greater Austin Sports Foundation Hall of Honor inductee.